What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel, and I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's already time for another Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for New Comic Book Day, which is tomorrow. If you're watching this video today is Tuesday, September 24th of 2024. Tomorrow, September 25th, is New Comic Day, the best day of the work week, and I am always shocked about how fast the weekend goes, and then I'm already making another Wednesday pull list video, and then another final order cutoff video. It just seems like I'm always making a video, but where does the time go? I would really love to know, because I feel like I'm missing out on something. And like one of the things I'm missing out on was the time to make my previews highlights video, because I collected all the covers, I did all the research, but then, you know, previews are due on Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, and I had to make a choice. I can either make this video or make previews highlights, and it just makes more sense to do the Wednesday pull list. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about all the books that are on my pull list that are coming out this week on New Comic Book Day. We're gonna go over my cover lever picks. We're gonna go over the best reads of the week, the chopping block, which are the books I'm chopping for my pull list because I'm no longer enjoying the story. And yeah, then we're gonna go over the top 3 and every other book on my pull list. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You guys should stick around. Let's talk comic books, new comic books, and we're gonna start by doing the same thing we do every single week, which is checking out my pull list. All right, guys, now as you guys can see, this pull list is a little bit of a doozy. It does stretch almost the full length of my ultra-wide monitor, which means there are a lot of books on my pull list. Now, there are a total of 26. That's right, 26 books up on screen right now. And a shocking thing that I noticed, down in the corner right here, it gives you the total of the cover price of all those books. And those 26 books cost me $131.74. But wait! You guys forgot, I order my books through previews and I save 35% off the cover price of those books. And that means I only spent like $85, pretty much $86, which is a huge, amazing discount. It's a $45, almost $46 discount off the cover price of these books. So that's how I'm able to afford all of these crazy comic books, which is so stinking cool. But you guys can't see what those books are because they are so super teeny tiny. So let me go and throw them up on screen right now. Guys, like I said, there are a total of 26 books on my pull list. There are 4 new number 1s, 8 DC books, 7 Marvel books, and 11 independent titles. Now, there are a couple books that I did not read the previous issue to, because that's how I make this video. I read all the previous issues to the books that are up on screen right now. And I will mark those for you guys right now. Those books cannot make the top 3 list. Alright guys, so that is my pull list, 26 total books. Let's go ahead and find out what books are on the chopping block this week, because there are 3, and that's a lot. Alright guys, first up on the chopping block this week is Action Comics. Now this week, Action Comics issue number 1069 comes out, and this is coming from the creative team of Gail Simone and Eddie Barrows. Now there is another backup story in this issue. I hate when comic books do that. Just tell us one story. But the reason why I'm chopping this book from my pull list is that I read the first couple of issues by Gail Simone and I did not like it. It was such a large departure from the previous creative team, which I think was Joshua Williamson. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's Philip Kennedy John. I'm totally blanking who the writer was on that book, but it does not matter. It was a decent book before, but now it's not really enjoyable, and it's coming out every single week. It's becoming a weekly book again, and I just can't do weeklies, guys. I really can't. It stresses the creative team, and the story just seems thinned out and not enjoyable. So I'm going to chop this book from my pull list before it gets too crazy. And also, there is going to be a creative team switch up in the future. Mark Waid, and I forget who the artist is going to be on this book with him, but Mark Waid's going to be taking over Action Comics as well. All right, guys. Next up on the chopping block is Batman the Brave and the Bold. I'm actually kind of sad to be chopping this book from my pull list, but I got to tell you, this book continues to get shuffled to the bottom of my repile every single week it comes out, and that just means I'm not enjoying the story, or I'm not excited for the story, and I'm trying to shorten my pull list and make it smaller and smaller so that way I'm not spending over $300, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is on comic books every single month. And when the book gets shuffled to the bottom, I just gotta chop it. That is just what needs to happen. I love the amazing cover art by Simon DeMeo that's been on every single one. I might still pick up a few of these issues here and there when there are really cool characters on the cover. So if you see this book again on my pull list, it's going to be for that reason, not for the stories inside. All right, guys, the final book that's on the chopping block this week is Hello Darkness. Now, I only read the first issue, and then I dived into the second issue looking for that Something is Killing the Children story that's supposed to be in the first 6 issues, and issue number 2, it was nowhere to be found. But it does look like it's going to be back in issue number 3. Now, I have already pre-ordered the next 2 issues, so I am getting issues number, I think 4 and 5. And I'm probably will have to pick up issue number 6 to make sure I complete that 6-issue mini that's supposed to be in here for Something is Killing the Children, because I read the first one and it was great. The other stories in the book, I really did not care for all too much. There are some amazing cover A's. I love all of them. There's some cover B's by Jenny Frison, which have been okay. So overall, I wasn't impressed by this horror anthology story, so I'm going to chop it from my pull list, but I will collect all the issues that have the mini story of Something is Killing the Children, because I'm a huge Something is Killing the Children fan. So those are the 3 books getting the chop. Let's go ahead and move over to something I love to talk about. It's like my favorite part of this video, which are my cover level picks. Not that many covers this week. I believe only 7 cover lover picks. Now, I am not picking up every single one of these covers that you guys are going to see on screen, but I am picking up a good amount of them. I just like to show you guys the amazing, cool artwork, and sometimes some of these are like 1 in 100s, 1 in whatever. I usually don't pick those up, but any open order covers, I'm normally going to pick those up. So let's go ahead and dive into these 7 covers. And the first one up is Uncanny X-Men issue number 3 with the Marvel Comics Presents variant, done by Muhammad Asrar. You guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I love this guy's freaking artwork. There are 2 covers by him on this list, and this one featuring Nightcrawler is just freaking fantastic. I love it. I like the blue, vibrant background and the Nightcrawler hanging upside down. I just think it's stinking cool. The next up is another cover that is amazing by an amazing artist. This is Zatanna Bring Down the House, issue number 4, with the cover B done by Joelle Jones. I've been a big fan of Joelle Jones ever since she was doing the writing and the art on her Catwoman run. I'm not sure when that started. I picked it up like midway through and it was fantastic. I need to go back and pick up every single issue since issue 1 of the current Catwoman run up until the end of Joelle Jones' run, because it was so good. Now guys, next up is a great cover. This is Wolverine Revenge issue number 2 with the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Alessandro Cappuccio. I'm totally butchering your name, Alessandro. I apologize, but your Wolverine cover is really stinking good. Guys, if you did not know, this is the main artist on Moon Knight, and it's just, look at this cover. It is so good. All right, guys, next up, we got Conan the Barbarian, issue number 15, with the cover A, done by Muhammad Asrar. Again, I told you there's 2 covers on this list by this guy. This one is so good. You got this beautiful woman in the front. You got Conan looking badass. Why does Conan have bangs? I get why that would make sense, because you can probably just take a sword and cut the hair right there, but why not just like leave it long? But he always has bangs and it looks so weird. But then on the cover, you got this amazing monster in the background, actually 2 monsters. Just so good. So good. Next up, Universal Monsters Frankenstein, issue number 2 with the cover E, which is the 1 in 50 ratio variant done by a name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. This is good. I love the skull cover with the flowers growing out of the skull. I think it's just fantastic. All right, guys, next up is Predator vs. Black Panther, issue number 2. Now, this is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Raza. Now, I'm personally not going to be picking this up because I'm not picking up this series, and this cover is cool-ish, but if you look at it, it is gorgeous. It really is a really cool rendition of the Predator, and if you're a big Predator fan, go after this cover, guys. This cover is so good. And I bet you a good place to pick this up on the relatively cheap side would be mycomicbookshop.com tomorrow. Make sure you're checking early in the morning when they post all the ratio books. I bet you can probably get this for about 15 bucks, maybe even less, but this cover is fire. All right, guys, the final cover is a little racy, is a little sexy, but I gotta show these cover, guys, because I think the artwork is so fantastic. This is Grimm Fairy Tales, issue number 8 with the cover C. This is done by a man named Cedric Poulat. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. But guys, this cover is fabulous. It's really great. Now, if you follow him on Instagram, he did post something saying that if there are enough orders for this book, he'll put out a different version of it, and he teased it. It was really stinking good. But yeah, this cover is just fantastic. All right, guys, those are all my cover lover picks for this week. Let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is the new #1 that I think you guys have to be excited about. Before we check out this new #1, I'm just gonna ask you guys, if you guys are enjoying this video and you have not smashed that like button just yet, do me a favor, smash that like button. All right, guys, let's go ahead and check out this new #1. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I had 4 new #1s on my pull list. I was wrong. There's only 3. But there is one that I'm really, really excited about, and the other 2 I'm pretty excited about. So let's go ahead and cover the pretty excited about real quick. The first one up is Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue #1. Now, the main reason why I'm only kind of excited for this book, or a little bit excited about this book, is because I did not read Batman The Long Halloween. That was before my time when I was reading comic books, so I'm excited to dive into this, and I probably should go back and read The Long Halloween before I dive into The Last Halloween, but I'm probably not. I already got too many books to read, guys. I have a whole short box that is completely full of books that I have to read, which is too much to add something else to it. But this is coming from a great creative team, and this has a long history of being one of the best Batman stories out there, so I'm just going to dive in. I'm hopefully going to have a great time. Now, the other book is a book from Distillery, which I know turns a lot of you guys off. It turns me off because it comes in this oversized format, the prestige format, and I don't love that because it's hard to store. But this book sounds really exciting. This is called The Missionary, issue #1, and it's coming from the creative team of Ryan Stegman as the writer, not the artist, and it's going to have art by Jason Howard, which is a great creative team. And the story also sounds really cool. It's like this guy who's down and out. I believe he's like a priest, and then he basically, something happens to him, and he accepts the help of the devil, and the devil kind of wants to do good, and he wants to do a little bad, and they come together, and they have they become like this being of power, and it sounds really stinking cool. But I am excited about this, and I am going to pick this up. It's not on my previous order, so I'm going to have to pay full price for it, which is terrible. I hate paying full price for these type of books because this is $8.99. $8.99 for this stinking book. I definitely should have put this on my previous order because then I only would have paid like $5.99 or $5.49, something like that. But guys, the book that I am over the moon excited about, the book that I think you guys have to be picking up, is the Magic Order Volume 5, issue #1. Now, you're probably saying, Bruce, I cannot dive into a series at Volume 5, and you're most likely right. You'll be like a little lost, a little left behind. But guys, this series is hands down one of the best magic stories, period. It is so good. This is coming from the writer of Mark Miller. It has art by Matteo Buffagini. I don't know how to tell you a true amount of excitement that is inside of me and explain it to you guys, because there have been 4 volumes of this series about this magic family, and it's been incredible. And the really cool thing is that each story has the same writer, Mark Miller, but they have different artists, and they've had banger artists. They've had Oliver Kopel on the first volume, which was incredible. Dyke Ruan was on the last volume, which is like, he's one of my favorite artists, guys, and he was doing the interiors and the cover A's. It was like so good. The other artists have been fantastic as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and read this very short synopsis for this volume 5 to you guys, and hopefully it gets you a little excited. The final volume begins as Cordelia Moonstone is told she's going to die soon, and there's nothing she can do about it. She broke the rules, and now she has to pay the price, just like all her friends. Now, the Moonstones are a magic family who basically are in charge of protecting the world from all the other crazy magic users out there, because there's obviously bad guys that want to use magic for bad, and they are there to protect. They're there to basically for the order. They keep magic in order, and it is just constant chaos and craziness, and they deal with family issues, and there was this one guy who was addicted to drugs, but he was a magic user, and it was just, there were so many cool things. It's like Harry Potter, cranked to the max, adult max. It is so good. Now, there are some variant covers for this, but they're not crazy. A lot of Mark Miller books don't have crazy variant covers. There's usually either 1 or two variants. Like this, the cover B is just a black and white by Matteo Buffagini. It's just the cover A, but in black and white. And there is a cover C, and that is done by Jay Lee. So there's truly only one variant cover for this, and it's that one by Jay Lee. But guys, Mark Millar is one of the best writers, and you guys should have to be reading this book. If you can find like the first volumes online on like, you know, one of the online readers, do that. If you can find the first couple volumes in trade, do that. Get caught up. This series is an absolute banger. All right, guys, those are the new number ones on my pull list this week, and the one that I'm totally pumped for is the Magic Order Volume 5, Issue number 1. But guys, we need to talk about the top 3 books that you guys have to be picking up this week because the stories are the best coming out this week. Now, just a quick reminder, guys, I read the previous issues to the book that are coming out this week. So when I'm talking about this book, I'm talking about the previous issue, not the issue that's coming out this week. Then the number 3 book is Nightclub, Volume 2, Issue number 2. And this is coming from the amazing writer of Mark Millar. It has art by Juanan Ramirez. And guys, this whole series is so stinking good. The first volume of this came out last year, and it's about a kid who gets bitten by a vampire, and all he wants to do is become a superhero. And then he ends up biting his 2 best friends, and they become a superhero group of child vampires, and they get under the tutelage of this one guy, and then something crazy happens, and it's so good. And in this current volume, the trio of these 3 kids, they've actually separated into 2 and 1. Because these 2, there's a guy and a girl, are dating now, and this one over here was in love with the girl. And he's mad at his friend for falling in love with this girl. And so they're like kind of like butting heads and like stupid kids would, but they're vampires, like super powered vampires that are in school. And so they're dealing with school drama and still trying to be superheroes and record and put everything on YouTube. And it's really cool. I love the dynamics of this. I love that it's in this whole Miller world because they do reference other things in the universe. It is just so cool. If you didn't read The Big Bang or Big Game that Mark Millar wrote last year, that's an amazing crossover series between all the Miller books, which is so good, and this was in it. So good. And the art by Juanan Ramirez is fantastic. And the first volume of this series was only $1.99, which was so cool, even though this one is $4.99. So he's like increasing the price, which is, I guess, totally okay because, you know, I got that first volume for $1.99. This is a 32-page book, and the variant covers are none. Well, there is a cover B, but it's a black and white variant of the cover A. So, you know, just stick with the cover A. It is good, and this series is amazing, especially if you like teen drama, but with vampires that are superheroes. So cool. All right, guys, that is the number 3 book. Let's go ahead and find out what the number 2 is. All right, guys, the book that's in the number 2 spot is Wolverine Revenge, issue number 2. Now, this is coming from the crazy good creative team of Jonathan Hickman and Greg Capullo. That's right, we get Hickman as a writer and Capullo on art. It was so good. Now, what I did not know, which I guess I should have known from reading the synopsis of issue number 1, is that this is an Elseworld tale. And that is really stinking cool because I love Elseworld tales because they can do whatever they want within the Marvel Universe with any of the characters. And right off the bat, in issue number 1, spoiler, they kill Magneto. They don't even show it, but he ends up blowing up basically and sending out a crazy EMP over the like northern hemisphere, which like destroys like anything with like obviously electricity, and then the world like kind of plunges into chaos. But Wolverine didn't know because he was in the Savage Land like doing his hunting thing. So cool. So cool. And then Nick Fury comes down and picks him up and basically sends him on a mission to go get a power generator that's like a singularity that can like power like anything from a bunch of bad guys. And then Wolverine runs into the bunch of bad guys, but there's some other heroes with him, and then they get captured and terrible things happen. The last page of the issue number 1 was so good. It was so good. There were so many good moments, and Greg Capullo's art is so great. But I love that this is going to be an Elseworld tale, and Wolverine is probably going to be doing what he does best and like killing everyone, cutting them to pieces, and it's going to be amazing. It's so good. The writing by Jonathan Hickman had a nice pace to it, great dialogue, artwork was fantastic. This was just a really, really fun book. I really enjoyed every single issue. Now, I'm picking up the Red Band ones, and the Red Band has just, I guess, a little bit more guts and gore. I wouldn't say probably too much. The story is the same exact thing. Now, the variant covers for this, there is a Rose Besh, which is fine. There is a Stephen Platt, which is pretty good. Like I said, there is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Alessandro Capaccio. Totally butchering your name, I'm sorry. And then there is a 1 in 100 done by Rose Besh. Now there is a non-Red Band, but guys, just pick up the Red Band. There's nothing terrible in it, and it's so much more fun. Now this is a 20 page book for $4.99. A little bit less than the Nightclub. So I guess we just gotta enjoy the 28 pages for $4.99. It's fine with me, I don't care. It's so good. Greg Capullo, Hickman, let's freaking go. All right, guys, that is the number 2 book. Let's go ahead and find out what the number 1 book that I think you guys have to be picking up this week, because it was the best previous story that I read coming out this week. Before I talk about the number 1 book, guys, I just gotta remind you guys, if you guys have not joined the Discord, join the Discord. We've been talking about this book for a while now. A lot of people have been, hey, have you read this book? Did you enjoy it? And everyone's been like, oh my God, it's so stinking good. And yeah, I was in the Discord this week raving about issue number 4 because it was so good. Guys, I'm talking about Helen of Windhorn. Issue number 5 comes out this week. I read issue number 4 over the weekend. It was so good. Now this is coming from the writer of Tom King and has art by Bilquis Evely, and it's so stinking good. This whole book is following this girl whose father died, and she gets brought to her grandfather. Her grandfather is a super rich guy. This is probably set back in like the 60s, 50s or something. It's not set in like current day. And she has this woman with her that is supposed to help raise her and like teach her manners and teach her schooling and basically just like, you know, be there for her to raise her while the grandfather does grandfather things because he's super duper rich. But we find out that there's so much more going on with this grandfather because he has access to go to like this alternate reality, and he's like a knight or barbarian. I don't know what he is, but he goes there and he just like goes on crazy adventures. And we don't find that out until like a few issues in. And it's so cool to like see how this character, because the girl was like down and out. She was like an alcoholic. She was so sad because like her father died and she was like left alone. And her character growth has changed so much, and it's been such a cool rise to where she's gotten. And the end of issue number 4 was like this moment that was so impactful for this character, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in issue number 5. And I'm not even sure how many issues is in this series. It's probably like a 6-issue mini, so we're probably getting really close to the end. Yes, this even it says in the synopsis, the penultimate issue. So issue number 6 is going to be the final issue, which is going to be super sad because this story is so good. Tom King is like, this is like some of like his best writing in my opinion. Maybe not, maybe so, I don't know. I really like Mr. Miracle a lot, and I like some other stories he's written a lot. But this Helen by Windhorn, the 6-issue mini, is so good so far. So good. And the art by Bilquis Evely is fantastic. It's so good. When they go to that magical realm and we see all the craziness that they're doing, it's so cool. It's just so cool to see them bond, the grandfather and the daughter, in issue number 4. It was so natural and just like so positive and uplifting. And then the end, oh my God. So good. This series is incredible. It's the way it's written, the way it's told, and there's like some other nuggets in there that I'm not even going to tell you guys. You have to be picking this book up because I don't want to ruin it all for you. I'm not going to tell you the whole story because then why would you go and pick it up if I told you everything? I gotta give you the little nuggets to get you down to your comic book shop, your local one, and pick this up. Or go online, mycomicbookshop.com probably has all these issues. Pick them up. So good. All right, now variant covers. I gotta click on the link first, and then I gotta go to Leah Comic Geeks because I have it linked. Variant covers. There is a foil, which is the cover that I pre-order every single month, and the only thing that's foil is the title, and that's totally fine with me. And that it just gives it a little pop, and it's gorgeous. Now, the other one is an incentive cover. It's a cover C. It's a 1 in 10 ratio variant done by Gabriel Hernandez Walta. It's a virgin, and I don't care for it. Gabriel Hernandez Walta has a very specific look to it, and I don't love it on everything. On Phantom Road, it was absolutely amazing, which is another book if you haven't read. Go read that book. It was by Jeff Lemire, and it was so creepy and good. But Helen of Windhorn is a book that you guys have to be reading. Pick it up. All right, guys, that is the top 3 books. Nightclub in the number 3 spot. Wolverine Revenge in the number 2 spot, and Helen of Windhorn holding down the number 1. Let's go ahead and cover the rest of the books on my pull list in the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. Alright guys, the not top 3, I covered the rest of the books on my pull list that did not make the top 3 list. I put them in 3 buckets. The okay, which are stories that are okay. You can probably skip these books because, you know, the stories weren't fantastic. I'm picking them up for whatever reason. The good, which are books you guys definitely should consider picking up. And then the great are the books you guys, you know, that didn't make the top 3 list, but these stories are absolutely fantastic and you should be picking these books up. So let's go ahead and dive right into the okay. And the okay starts off with NYX issue number 3. I read issue number 1 and 2 yesterday. Issue number 1 was actually pretty good. Issue number 2, not so great. Now this is coming from the creative team of Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. They are great writers. They really are. But issue 2 was just a total letdown. Now I did pre-order like the next 2 issues, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more of a chance, but I think I've already chopped this from my pull list because people in the Discord were like, the story really isn't that good. And they're right. After issue number 2, the story really isn't that good. All right, guys, next up is Titans, issue number 15. I read issue number 14 yesterday. I don't know why I'm still picking this book up. Now, I'm going to continue collecting to the end of this run and probably the first few issues of the next creative team, and fingers crossed they do something really interesting. Otherwise, I got to chop this book. I got to make more room in my pull list. All right, guys, next up is X-Force, issue number 3, or 3, not 2, 3. Issue number 1 was okay. Issue number 2 was not good. Like, not good at all. I didn't enjoy the art. I didn't enjoy the story. What is going on? X-Force should be an absolute badass book, and this is just, I don't know where this book is going. You had 2 more issues, and then chop chop. All right, guys, moving on to the good. Now, first up is a book that I read like over a week ago. And I think that's why I put this in the good, because I read it a while ago. It was supposed to come out last week and then it got delayed. This is Black Cloak, issue number 8, comes out this week. And yeah, I'm not sure if this story was amazing or good or great, but I'm definitely gonna say that it was good because each one of these stories has been really good. All right, guys, next up is Green Arrow, issue number 16. This story is getting a little bit better. It definitely had a little bit of a low, but it's coming back up, and the last page of issue number 15 was fantastic. And it's a great family book. We get the whole Arrow family in this whole series, and it's been great. All right, guys, next up is Kill All Immortals, issue number 3. Issue number 2 was good. Wasn't bad, wasn't great. It's just a you kind of see where the story is going. There's nothing shocking happening. I wanted this to be something different than just a normal immortal story, but that's what it kind of feels like. It's just like mortals. They're like crazy and they're super powerful, and I don't know. Do something different. Make it great. All right, guys, next up is Namor, issue number 3. I keep put out 2, but issue number 3. Read issue number 2 yesterday. It was good. Not great. Not bad. Good. This is written by Jason Aaron, and I was hoping for great, but I'm getting good. Next up, Outsiders, issue number 11. Solid story. I really like how they took the character of the drummer. They introduced her. She's a new character, and she's supposed to be a good guy, and they're slowly turning her into a bad guy, and she's gonna try to like basically rewrite reality. Pretty stinking cool. Next up, Thundercats, issue number 8. This story is good. I want it to be great because I have like nostalgia for Thundercats super hard because I used to love the Thundercats, but it's good. It's a good nostalgia book. I'm going to continue picking it up until it becomes bad, and then I'm going to chop it. I do wish the artwork would change. Pick a different artist. The artist is not very good. Make it better. All right, guys, next up is The Great. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 books in the Great list, and these are all hands down really great stories. Kaya, issue number 21. This is a very long ongoing story, and it's absolutely fantastic. It gets interesting and more interesting and crazy. There's so many elements to it. I'm not even going to get into the details, but if you like Wes Craig, check this book out. This story is really, really cool. After that, it's Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 9. Issue number 8 was really, really good. Almost every single issue of this series has been really, really good. The artwork is incredible. The story is just a really good Spider-Man story. And we can't say that about any of the other Spider books. So pick up this if you're a Spider-Man fan. All right, guys, next up is Uncanny X-Men, issue number 3. Issue number 2 was great. I love the art by David Marquez. It's so gorgeous. I love how they introduced these new mutants that are in this group, and I love how the team handled it. There's just like, you know, it's not perfection because they're not a real team yet. And it was great. It was so good. And the last book is Zatanna, Bring Down the House, issue number 4. This story is still surprising me. It is so good. Zatanna doesn't know or doesn't want to do Mac because something happened when she was a kid, and it was traumatizing. And then there is this order of magicians that are going after her now that she's older, and she doesn't know why. And there's like multiple people trying to help her, and then multiple people trying to like do like, you know, stop her. And it is so cool. And the art is fantastic. The story is fantastic. Black Label, out of continuity book story. So good. It is so great. There's so many great covers for almost every single issue. That cover B by Joel Jones is fantastic. All right, guys. That is everything on my pull list this week. We've done the whole shebang. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. All right, guys, we are at the end of today's video. And if you've been watching from the beginning all the way to this point in the video right now, you guys know exactly what you are. You guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, if you guys have not smashed that like button just yet, do me a favor. Smash that like button. It helps the channel out so much. Now, last but not least, I don't know why I'm doing this, but if you guys like comic book content and you guys are not subscribed, I just gotta say, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed to hit that bell for notifications, and again, smash that like button. Okay. Now, I will be back on Thursday or Friday with the final order cutoff recommendations and speculation video, but I gotta start preparing next, or I should say this month's previews, which is going to be October previews, not September, October, and make sure I get that video out to you guys. And there's been some banger covers already being shown for Absolute, like all the Absolute books and everything else. I'm so excited, and I think Stephanie and I are gonna put together a little video for any con goers who've never been to a convention before, because this is going to be Stephanie's first convention, meaning New York Comic Con on October 18th, which is, again, my birthday, which is such a cool thing, even though it starts on the 17th. But I'm going on the 18th. So we're going to do kind of like a, you know, you've never been to a con, what should you know? What should you do? That type of video. Would you guys be interested in that? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. We're going to do it anyways, but would you be interested in it? That's what I want to know. All right, guys, have yourself a great new comic book day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.